Hey friends, how are you? I was invited by Katie and family to do a video on being a teen mom and dealing with society. I had this video already recorded, but unfortunately my computer died and I lost all the footage, so I'm going to try to do it all over again. Hopefully I can fit in everything that I talked about in the other one. Hopefully I remember everything, and I'm sorry about me being in the kitchen with this weird background. My kids are playing, and I'm just trying to sit wherever I can to get this done. Alright, so I was 19 years old when I got pregnant with my first. And I know 19 years old is not young, it's not as young as the 13 or 14-year-olds, but even though I was 19, I still dealt with a lot of judgment, especially with people, even people that I didn't know. So, being 19, I was working part time at the mall at a perfume store. I was working part time, and because I was working part time, we didn't have insurance, we didn't have maternity leave, we didn't have nothing like that. So, I was practically living paycheck by paycheck and trying to get by. I was living with my mom at the time, and telling her I was pregnant must have been one of the hardest things I think that I ever had to do. So I remember I was telling her I was pregnant, and I think my mother must have been the first person to have judged me. And she told me that, how are you going to have this baby? How are you going to afford this baby? How are you going to do it? And it started off like that. And even though she was right, she had a lot of good points. At the end of the day, I wanted to prove to her that no matter what, I was going to keep this baby and I was going to be able to get through this. So, because I was living with my mom, and I was pregnant, I was unmarried. We were together, but we were not married. We had a lot of judgment from a lot of people, family members, friends, people that we didn't even know. How is she pregnant? She's not even married. Or how is she pregnant and living with her mom? How is she going to do it? We always had so many judgmental people saying so many things. I had people say that I was a terrible mom or I was going to be a terrible mom because I had tattoos. I had judgment all over the place. Um, when I was pregnant, I wanted to go to the doctor to get checked, and they needed, you need to have insurance. Obviously, I wasn't going to pay because it's a little bit too pricey. So I had to apply for Medicaid. And when you get Medicaid, a lot of people judge you because of that too, because a lot of people feel like, why are they paying for people to have free insurance? Like, why don't they just work? And honestly, not every job, gives you the option to get insurance, and a lot of people can't afford to pay for insurance. So I applied for Medicaid, and because of that, I had to wait a while for it to go through. And when I tell you a while, welfare is super busy, especially where I was living before. I was living in New Jersey. So a lot of people would judge you like, oh, you have to apply for Medicaid. Like, if you have to apply for Medicaid and you don't have money to pay for insurance, then you shouldn't be having a baby. Or if you can't afford your own labor bills or hospital bills, then you shouldn't be able to afford a child. There's always going to be people that are going to say things like that. Oh yeah, and another thing is when you have Medicaid, you could only use the providers listed that they have available. So it's not like you can choose the best doctor or the doctor that you want. You have to go with what they can provide you with. So in a way, that kind of sucks, being a teen mom and having to have Medicaid. Because of that, I had my daughter at a hospital that I did not want to have her at, but it was the only option for me. And I had a horrible experience. I have a whole video on that on my channel about my labor and delivery. With that being said, I had my daughter, and she was beautiful, and she is beautiful. And breastfeeding didn't work out so well, so we had to go to formula when she was 3 months old. So that, because I needed help, my fiance was only working, well, at the time he was my boyfriend, but he was only working, I think it was a full-time job working in the kitchen, and he was only getting paid like $300 a week. We had to pay for everything ourselves: diapers, wipes, clothes, anything she needed, it was us. My mom gave us a roof over our heads. She gave us, our own rooms, which was really nice of her. But anything that came with Isabella or us, we paid for. So I needed some help from WIC to buy formula because, as you know, formula is expensive. And I don't know if this happens to you guys, but every time I went to the store to purchase something with WIC, people would automatically roll their eyes. They would say, "Oh, WIC, I hate WIC," or "Oh, WIC again, I don't want to have to do this," or "I hate WIC checks," or people behind you waiting in line because they want to, you know, um, they want to leave the supermarket. They have to wait until you're done, and they start rolling their eyes and, you know, and it just makes you feel uncomfortable. Like you are constantly being judged about everything. Like it doesn't matter where you are, where you go. People are always waiting for you to do something to judge you about. Um, I wish I had like more things to say because obviously I wasn't such a young teen mom, but I do have an experience when I was a freshman in school. A freshman. I wasn't even a freshman. I was in eighth grade actually, and I remember I was so full from lunch. I was writing a note to my friend, and I guess I was showing him like like a belly because I was so full. But he wasn't understanding, so I wrote a letter, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so pregnant," But I was joking because obviously I wasn't pregnant. I was just full. And the teacher ended up grabbing the note, and she read it out loud to the whole class. And let me tell you, everybody was looking at me like I murdered somebody. And then I remember going up and down the stairs. People would block me off, and they would say, "Pregnant people can't come through here." So I can only imagine if I was really a mom or a teen mom being 13, 14 years old, how they are treated. I see mothers on YouTube, and I'm not going to mention any names, but I do like watching teen moms on YouTube for some reason. And I came across a teen mom who was 14 or 13 when she got pregnant, and her boyfriend was the same age. And people would judge her because her boyfriend couldn't get a job because he wasn't even 16 yet. So technically, her parents had to buy everything, and they had to pretty much I don't know, pay her bills, pay everything for the child, pay for her. They were responsible for her and her baby. And people would say her mom would get mad at her and say "Oh, you need to put him on child support because he doesn't help you." But it's like, how do you expect him to help her when he can't even get a job? So there is a lot of judgmental all around, especially with teen moms. Teen moms has become something that people are dying to judge about. Sorry about that. My son started crying, and I had to go get him because he was hungry. But yeah, where I was leaving off was that we also had a lot of judgment about the fact that we did things backwards. Like we started dating, then we got pregnant, we moved in with my mom, and then we moved out. We weren't married, so a lot of people said things like, "How are you having a child when you're not even married yet?" Or "How are you having a child living with your parents?" Things like that. Um, but that is why we did the move that we did. We moved to Iowa from New Jersey, so it was a big change. But this was the best decision for us because Arturo was able to get a really good job. He was able to get us our own place. Um, he has his car, I have mine. I'm able to be a stay-at-home mom. And because our life was stable and, we're not struggling, we're not having any issues like that, and we learned from all our mistakes, we were able to have Isaac and not deal with all the judgment that we did with Isabella, even though I was 22 when I got pregnant with Isaac, I believe, because I'm 23 now. I did get judged, "Oh, another one," or "two under two. People are always going to comment regardless how old you are. It's either you're too old, you're too young, or you don't have this, you don't have that, or, things like that. And honestly, my kids have everything that they need. I have everything that I need. He has everything that he needs. We're doing good. And if my daughter ever has a slip, which I hope she doesn't, I want her to learn from what I went through, I'm going to be there to pick her up and teach her right from wrong. But I think we can't protect our kids from everything. Hopefully, she is guided the right way. That's what I'm planning on. But like I said, kids are kids. I sure was an angel growing up. We also moved because here's a little bit safer. There's not as much crime as there was back home. And literally where I was living at before, I think I was getting scared to even walk down the street. Like over here is different. We wanted a different kind of environment for our children, and that's where we are now. So we are just doing the best that we can to provide for our family, regardless how young we are. But yeah, people are always going to judge. Even now, people still judge. People are always going to want to know what you're doing, how you're doing it. Always going to find a reason to put you down, and you just have to keep your head up. Um, but yeah, guys, I think this is about it because honestly, I had made this video already, like I said, and everything got deleted, and I wish it wouldn't have had deleted because I have some really good points on there. So I'm really sorry if I'm forgetting anything. And if you're new to my channel, please, if you want, subscribe. That would be really nice. I love having new subscribers, and hopefully I'll have some new videos up soon. Um, but yeah, thank you so much for watching, and down below is Katie's channel along with all the ladies who are going to be joining on this topic as well. So I'll leave that all in the description box. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a good day. Bye.